Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Today we have a game of two lies, one truth, where I will attempt to deceive you, to manipulate you into believing my lies, my soft, deceitful lies. And you have the opportunity to guess, to see through my deception. Welcome. This first story is not a story about myself, but it is about my mother. When she was but a young, I don't know how old, a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, somewhere between those ages, she worked for a famous photographer named Cartier-Bresson. As a photographer, she traveled the world, seeing many sights, many beautiful sights, taking many photographs, because that's what photographers do. Shit, I can't even say that word right. But on her many travels, she ventured forth to a little place, a very small place called India. I don't know where exactly it was in India, but she traveled throughout the entirety of India, and she often talks about her many experiences. And through her travels, there was one story that she told me that was very unique, that stood out, and that was the time that she married a banana. And I don't know if she actually married a banana, or if she married a person dressed up as a banana. But either way, it is a very unique story. She was traveling through the woods in a car. She was not driving, somebody else was driving, and perhaps there was a thunderstorm, but either way, some gust of wind hit a tree, and it fell on the car, crushing the person driving. And it was a very unlucky experience. But the natives, the locals, pulled her out of the car and said that she was so very lucky to be alive, and they performed some sort of ritual in which she married a banana. I don't really know the rest of the story, but that is the story. So when I got to university, because I don't particularly want to be studying maths, I joined the finance club straight away, and I became the secretary. I was in charge of doing stuff. I was in charge of sending out weekly emails. I was in charge of financing, helping to finance events, helping to plan events, emailing different sponsors, these sort of things. Very boring. There were other things that were fun. I ran like a course with a friend of mine, teaching people to code. Not that I really knew how to code at the time, but anyway, the purpose. What I'm trying to say is that was the first year I got to terms with being in a society. In the second year, I wanted to start my own society, but I didn't know what the society would be about. So what I did with a few friends, in fact, it was kind of just one friend, one of my friends who was big into anime. He was the only person who I've ever met I could talk about anime with without feeling guilty. Although he did kind of make me feel guilty because I kind of liked SAO at the time, and that was kind of mainstream, so he kind of made fun of me. Anyway, we started a secret society, because we didn't know what to do the society about. We formed our own secret society, which was kind of a stupid idea. It's kind of a unoriginal idea, uninspired. But we started because we couldn't officially make a society about nothing. We couldn't officially make a society where there were less than 5 people, I believe. So we started leaving codes to, like, URL codes around campus, like on leaf notes. Note leaves? What are they called? You know, the little sticky pads? We used to just write the URL, and then we'd hide it under benches and in toilet stools, that sort of thing. And it would link to a website that we had built together. It was a really basic website. In fact, it was a terrible website, very basic. And most of the code was actually stolen from somebody else. The point is that we created a secret society, and it was kind of like a message board website. And we in the end, we didn't really end up doing that much with the website, but we had one fake meeting, and nobody came to our fake meeting. I don't think there were many people who actually followed the URL. I think my friend just sent the URL to a bunch of people, so it looked from our server like loads of people had looked at it, but really only one or two people had really looked at it, and then nobody actually went to the meeting, which was kind of sad. Our secret society failed and crumbled before it even began. A lot of kids like action dolls. They like superheroes. They like Spider-Man. They like action figures, like Rambo sort of things. When I was young, I liked knights and I liked dinosaurs, but mainly knights. I liked So when I was young, I used to collect these little figurines with swords and shields and bows and such like, and I even had a little castle. And when I grew up, when I was like 5 or 6, my mum used to take me to reenactments. So, well, what a reenactment is basically a bunch of people get together and pretend to have fights. Especially in the countryside, there are a lot of national heritage sites. And that's basically like old worn down castles or fields where battles once took place. And I enjoyed watching it. I mean, it's very exhilarating seeing people like smash swords into one another. And I really wanted a sword when I was little. I have a bow now. I have a bow, and it's hiding behind my guitar, I think. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in my room, but like a proper bow. One that is in 3 pieces, and you have to take it apart, and you have to resin the string. Anyway, that's not part of the story. But I was very obsessed with swords and bows and all of that good stuff. So when I was allowed, I think it was age 16. Yeah, no, it must have been age 16. I think that's the law. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe I broke the law. But I was allowed to join in on some of these reenactments. And I signed up, and you don't get paid for this sort of thing, unfortunately. But it's about the fun. It's about the experience rather than getting paid. But even though people pay to watch these things, I think. So yeah, no, I signed up for the Battle of Hastings, and which turns out I was on the wrong side of. Turns out the Vikings actually lost that battle. Wait, actually no. So I think it was a 2-part battle. So it wasn't just the Battle of Hastings, because the Battle of Hastings was between the Normans and the English. But before that happened, the English... Okay, so... I don't remember their names. But the English fought the Vikings up north, and then they came down and fought the Normans, and then they lost, and William the Conqueror took over. Anyway, English history, boring. The point is, I was part of the Vikings who were destined to lose, which is cool, because Vikings have cool... Yeah, it was all in 1066. And for a long time, most of my debit card PIN codes were all 1066. It has changed now, but for a long time that was my PIN code. Anyway, point is, I dressed up in Viking gear in like heavy chainmail. Chainmail is actually really heavy, and shields. Holding a shield up in front of you, that is really heavy. And yeah, so I pretended to hit people with an axe, and then I pretended to die. Well, I guess that's the end of the story. If you have been paying attention and listening, I have told 3 stories. One about a marriage to a banana, one about my secret society, and one about my Battle of Hastings. Which is the truth, and which are the lies?